I got it.
No.
What do you mean no?
No.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Raccoon's Den. I'm Bandit.
I'm Static.
And today we are going to be making a cake based off the show's logo. We're not drawing the logo, but we're going to be using the same colors, orange, black, and white, and making a fun little pattern on a 6-inch round cake.
And since we've been doing a lot of food episodes, we thought it would be something fun to do, bring some togetherness. Food brings friends and family together, and who doesn't like cake? I've been doing this professionally for a while, so you're gonna learn this from me. So a couple of things you're gonna need is whatever your choice of cake batter is, whether that be you make it from scratch or you could use store-bought cake batter, it really doesn't matter. All you're gonna need is eggs, butter, oil of any choice. It does not matter if it's olive oil, grapeseed oil, whatever you prefer. And then you're also going to need your pans, whichever size you use. These are gonna be 6 inches. And then you're also gonna need your non-stick spray. All right, let's get started. So first you're gonna pour in your dry ingredients. Then you're gonna pour in about 2.5 cups olive oil. And then you're gonna need 9 eggs. All right, really mix. Then you're gonna start your mixer on low. Once everything looks like it's mixing, you can turn it on. Don't forget to add your 3 cups of water if you're using cake mix. So with this, we'll be making, it's gonna be vanilla cake batter with orange zest. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna split our batter in about 1/3 to a half, and then we're gonna dye our batter orange in this bowl, and then we're gonna leave the batter regular in this bowl. I would start with about 3 drops first, and then once you mix it up, you get whatever color you want until it gets to where you want it to be. We're gonna go for probably like a pumpkin-y orange. All right, once you get it, you want to mix it until there's like no streaks. If you can see that there's still whatever your base color is in there, then you need to keep mixing it. But that's essentially where it should be at. Once we've dyed half or a third of our cake batter, now we're gonna zest in our orange. For this, we are using navel oranges, but it's 3 boxes. So if we're using 3 boxes, I probably should zest about 6 oranges. Typically, if you're not sure about, if you don't want to sit here and zest an entire bag of oranges, you can buy orange extract, or you can do what I'm doing and you can use triple sec. It bakes the exact same way. If you decide to use alcohol, you're gonna have to put your cake in the oven a little bit longer because obviously it's more liquid. Because you really, the whole point is you want to taste the orange at the end.
I'm not quite picking it up. It's more like a general batter with a hint of orange. So it's kind of like a LaCroix got baked into a cake.
Is it just me or did your like butthole clench up a little bit?
No!
Oh, mine did, I got scared. I don't know. When you get scared, your butt doesn't clench up a little bit? Just me?
No,
I'm a fucking weirdo? Watch, somebody's gonna go try to scare somebody and be like, did your butt clench? Next time you get scared, you're gonna clench your ass now.
It's getting there, but it's like essence of orange, kind of similar to like sparkling water. That's kind of.
You can never have too much triple sec.
Unless you don't drink alcohol, and then it gets kind of scary.
Yeah, if you don't drink alcohol, do not add alcohol. Like, stay sober. I don't know. Don't eat cake and drive. I've never done this before, so I hope this comes out right. Oh yeah, we'll be fine. That's good stuff. All right, for this next step, you're gonna want to start spraying down your pans. And then you're also gonna grab something that you can use to easily pour the batters in. Because we're doing it marble style, I'm gonna use a ladle and a spoon. You can use 2 cups, whatever you're more comfortable with, so you have control about how much batter you're putting in. Don't be afraid to put extra butter on the bottom, because that's where your cake is gonna be more likely to stick. You can never have too much spray. If you can't see the bottom, that's fine too. Now we're gonna pour in our batter. When you're pouring in your batter, you wanna fill it about halfway because it is going to rise. If you fill it too tall, it'll bubble over, it'll make a mess in your oven, and it turns into terrible, terrible mess. You just eyeball it when you hit about half. Once you have your batters evenly poured in, then you're gonna take a fork and then you're gonna just kind of fold it into each other you know, scoop some up, make sure it's really well mixed in, or else you're just gonna have orange on like part of your cake instead of marble throughout. And then you just want to get it to where you want to aim for like a tie-dye. Make sure it really gets around, but you don't want to muddle it to where you can't tell that there's two colors in it. Once you get your cake pans on a sheet tray, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put it in the oven at 350 for about, we'll start with about 20 minutes, and then after that you just poke your cake with a knife or check it with a toothpick, and once it comes out clean, that means your cake is done. But while the cake's in the oven, then we're gonna start on our frosting. And then once your cakes have cooled just a little bit, you can go ahead and pop them out of the pan. Please be careful not to burn yourself. Perfect bottom. And voila. And if it starts to get stuck to the bottom, you can either drop it on your counter or you can shake it until your sides come up. I would not recommend sticking a knife into it because you might cut up the sides of your cake, and then when you go to frost it later, you're gonna have cake chunks flying everywhere. For this part, you're gonna wanna use a bread knife or a serrated knife. It'll help you, and you want it to be essentially longer than your cake, so that way you don't have to turn it as much. And then you're also going to need your turntable. Once you get all your cakes out and they're just about cooled, then you'll move it over to your cutting tray. You're gonna take your serrated blade, you're gonna go just below the lip here, and then you're just gonna mark it. So you're just gonna kind of lightly follow your cake, and either you can turn or you can turn your cake, whatever's easier for you. Don't cut, do not saw, just leave your blade there. Keep your blade straight and leveled, and then you're just gonna turn it. And you're gonna keep turning it till you think you've marked it pretty good. And then once you've marked your cake, then you can push in a little bit more while you turn. And then you pretty much want the cake to do all the work. You shouldn't actually be moving your wrist. Your wrist should not move at all. And before you know it, your lid will just come off, flip it over, and you've leveled a cake. Always keep your cake lids because they're always really fun to use for cake pops, so. Or a really good snack. Oh wow, this is really good. It's really good. You can really taste the orange in it. It's not overpowering. Soft, flaky. It's gonna taste really great, guys. All right, peeps, now we're making frosting. For your frosting, you're gonna need, this is a pound of butter, 2 pounds of powdered sugar. You do not have to use the whole 2 pounds of powdered sugar. It's really up to you on how sweet you would like it. This right here is about 1.5 pounds of cream cheese, and then Crisco. Crisco really helps for smoothness, and it also helps with thickness, and that's why you also use cream cheese. It really helps make the body of your frosting. You can really use just butter and powdered sugar, but then you have to worry about temperature of your kitchen. It's gonna taste really buttery and you're not gonna have much flavor to it. Just remember, this is 1.5 pounds of cream cheese. If you feel like you can't taste the cream cheese once you finish, you can always add more cream cheese at the end, but you're gonna have to mix it a little bit more. But add it in small chunks, because if you add too much, you're gonna ruin it. And then what I like to do sometimes, like obviously that's a lot of cream cheese powdered up, I'll take my whisk attachment and just kind of push it down a little bit, because you still got other stuff that needs to go in here. Make sure your butter, your Crisco, and your cream cheese go in first, and then we're gonna slowly add in our powdered sugar. Look how it looks smooth down there. That means that you're doing good. You want to keep doing that until you stop having large clumps of Crisco and butter. So we're gonna keep mixing till we get it where we want it to be. Now we're gonna add in our powdered sugar. It's gonna be a mess warning. Please pour very carefully and very slowly. Or the other thing I recommend is take a grocery bag, and you can actually remove your bowl, place your bowl in the grocery bag, and then as you add in your powdered sugar, you can tie the top of your grocery bag and it'll kind of stop it from spraying all over the place. Okay, so next we're gonna take some of our freshly made frosting, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave a majority of it white. We're gonna coat the outside in cream cheese, and the filling is gonna be sparkled black cream cheese, and we're gonna use black sparkle gel to change the color. It's black, so you can't really put too much in. Always buy more stuff than what you need. It's always better to have extra and not need it than to need it and not have it. Another thing you should also take into consideration is be careful what dyes you use, because even this is going to change the taste of your frosting. So if you make it super, super sweet, it's not the end of the world if you're gonna dye it, because the dye itself is already bitter. Seems like this is as black as we're gonna get, which is fine. I'm using an 807 tip. You're gonna fill your piping bag If you're not used to filling piping bags, you can either use your hand or you can do the cup method where you take a cup, place your piping bag in it, cover the top. Whatever's more comfortable for you. If you have someone to stand there and help you, you can always get help. And all you want is enough to kind of just get your layers and stuff started. You don't need to fill it all the way to the brim because you're gonna need to tie it off, and the less frosting you actually have in your bag, the better control you'll have. You can use a Ziploc bag. It needs to be a regular sandwich bag, and then you cut one of your corners, close seal it, and then you can use the tip of that. If you don't have a tip, you can always still use a Ziploc bag and just cut it to the size that you want it. Then you're gonna grab your turntable. Next, you're gonna take your frosting. You're gonna put just enough on here, kind of spread it out a little bit, because you're gonna use it as glue to make your cake stick onto your cake board, so that way it doesn't fly off while you're decorating. And you're gonna lightly press it down and let it turn until you feel like it's the cake board and the cake should move as one. And you just swipe off your crumbs. Then you're gonna take whatever your middle frosting color is, and you're gonna pretty much just go in a circle. And it's okay if it turns. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's just your filling. And then usually I would recommend an offset, but I don't have an offset right now, so we're just gonna use a spatula. Try to get it as flat as you can. You don't wanna push it over onto your sides, because remember, you're gonna make your sides different colors. And then you just kind of get it to whatever the appropriate amount of frosting that you want. I usually do about 2 inches of frosting for middle layers. Then you're gonna take your straight edge, and then you're just gonna try to follow the sides and pick up whatever's falling off the side. It's not too bad because we're gonna cover it up later. And now we're gonna put it in the refrigerator, and we're gonna wait for this to harden, just not harden, but set. And then we're gonna do our second layer, and then we're gonna keep building. And while we're doing that, we're gonna make our chocolate drip. When you're melting chocolate, obviously, you wanna make sure it's completely dry. You put your chocolate chips in there. It doesn't matter what type of chocolate you use. The method behind this that we're gonna use also for melting is whether you use your alcohol or not, whenever you're melting chocolate, you always wanna split your chocolate in half. You wanna use 2 different bowls. So we're gonna put this bowl over heat, and then once it's completely melted, we're gonna do this thing called seeding. And we're gonna add in our raw chocolate chips with our hot chocolate chips, and it'll end up cooling it a lot faster, and it helps you avoid burning your chocolate. Okay, so now we're gonna make our double boiler to make our chocolate drip. So you're gonna take a pot, and you're gonna make sure your bowl can pretty much fit in your pot, but you don't want it to touch the bottom. You just want enough water to where you can create steam to melt your chocolate, but you do not want your water to touch your chocolate, or else you'll burn it. For us, this is just about how much water we're going to need. And if you're not sure if you put too much water in, always take your bowl, place it over, and if you pick it up and it's dry, you put the perfect amount in. If it's wet, you put too much water in, drain your water out, and try again. Once your chocolate's over the stove, you can either wait for it to heat up, or you can wait till your water comes to a raging boil, and then you can put your chocolate on. But we're just gonna go ahead and light it. And I recommend medium to high heat if you've melted chocolate before. If you're not comfortable doing the double boiler method, then you can always do 30-second or 1-minute intervals in the microwave. Exact same thing. And then if you're not sure about how your chocolate's going to melt, you can always add coconut oil. That'll also make it come out super smooth and melt a lot faster. But because we're infusing triple sec into our chocolate, we're gonna add our triple sec now and let it all melt together. And I would say that's about 3 tablespoons of triple sec. You don't want to overpower your chocolate, it's just so you can really taste some of it. And we're gonna get 1 spoonful of coconut oil to help melt our chocolate a little bit faster and make it a little bit smoother. And the coconut and the triple sec will have a really nice taste together. So now what we're gonna do is you wanna kinda watch your chocolate, and you kinda wanna wait for it to melt. You can tell when it's getting ready to melt because your chocolate's gonna start sweating, it's gonna start glistening, and then you know it's doing pretty well. For the most part, for right now, you wanna give it about 2 minutes, and then after that, you can push it around to kinda see if it's melting. If you feel like your chocolate's melting too fast, then take it off the heat and keep stirring it, so that way you don't burn it. Especially if you're not used to using the stove, that's what you wanna do. And if you feel like it's still too chunky, or at the end, you feel like it's not melted quite all the way, instead of sticking it in a microwave, I would recommend putting in just a little bit more coconut oil and really giving it a chance to kind of let the temperature do its thing. Now we have the chocolate consistency we're looking for. But since we're doing the seeding method, Our bowl's still warm, so to bring our temperature down, we're gonna add some more of our raw chocolate. And we're gonna stir it in, which will melt the raw chocolate, but it'll also bring our hot chocolate down to room temperature. And if your bowl gets too cold too soon, put it back over the fire. But once it gets to this state, you cannot leave your chocolate alone. If you leave it alone on a flame, you will burn it. And that's what you want. You want it to be able to drip off your spoon consistently with no breaks. And you put it aside. Now you should be able to bring out your other layer from the refrigerator. Once you pull your first layer out of the refrigerator, your frosting doesn't need to be hard. It just needs to be set enough to where you can put your second layer on and it won't collapse and you won't lose your layer. If you place your second cake layer and you're decorating it and you realize that your frosting's pushing out of the side, that means your frosting may be too warm and you might want to put it back in the refrigerator. Now we're gonna put it back into the refrigerator because if the first layer is not stiff enough, when we put our top layer on, then it'll actually push all your frosting out on the side and then you won't have defrosting in the middle. And then you've now successfully stacked your cake. Usually I would recommend to use a Boba straw, or if you have multiple thin straws, that works, and you can place it in the middle or do a star design so that way it stabilizes your cake, so that way if you're doing a tier or whatever you put on top of your cake, it won't shift it and then you won't have a lopsided cake later. Now we're going to start our creme coat, which is going to be our first layer of coating on the outside of our frosting. And that's when you're going to take your straight edge, and then you just keep going until you've covered your cake completely. And that's pretty much our first creme coat. It's going to look a little questionable, but I promise you it'll look better. Then you're going to place it in the refrigerator for about 10 minutes, or at least until it's stiff, and then you can put on your second coat. We'll stick it in the freezer one more good time. 10 minutes, we're going to decorate it, and then we're done. Then we eat. This is our chocolate. It should be at a nice room temperature, not too hot, not too cold. We want our cake colder than our chocolate, so that way when you drip it, it should hold its shape. And you kind of want to do it before it kind of settles, so that way you don't have to worry about as much overlap. Now we're gonna finish it with some fresh orange, and then we're done. Now it's time to cut this bitch.
Oh, can I cut it?
No.
What do you mean no?
No. Typically with a cake bigger than 4 inches, you don't want to do triangle slices. If you want to get a knife that's slightly bigger than what you have, to maximize your slices, you actually want to cut down and you want to do columns.
So now the cake is done, and I gotta say, this looks absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
It smells so good.
You can really smell the orange in that.
I'm not sniffing cake. That's just weird.
Yas.
I think the chocolate sauce dripping down the side really works well with it. It doesn't overpower anything in the cake.
It tastes like a cake version of the chocolate oranges.
Maybe it's because like the triple sec, maybe that kind of like adds to that like bitterness, like yeah, with a bite to it. Well, that's it for this episode.
Well, what are some of your favorite desserts?
Share with us in the comments below.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like.
And hit the subscribe button.
We'll see you next time on
The Raccoon's
Den.